Hello and welcome. This is the September 2021 video edition of the Iowa General Fund Monthly Revenue Memo. I am Jeff Robinson, Senior Fiscal Analyst for the Iowa Legislative Services Agency, the nonpartisan support agency of the Iowa Legislature. For this video, I will review final General Fund net revenue amounts for fiscal year 2021 and discuss how the closing of fiscal year 2021 impacts the current interpretation of fiscal year 2022. Iowa's fiscal year runs from July 1 through June 30th, and that period represents what is referred to as the cash fiscal year. However, proper accounting dictates that revenue deposited and refund checks issued after June 30th that are the result of economic activity that occurred on or before June 30 must be credited to that previous fiscal year. The process of accruing accounting transactions back to the previous year ends in September, and it is only now that the final net revenue picture for fiscal year 2021 became available. General Fund net revenue for the year increased $870 million and 11% compared to the fiscal year 2020 level. In both dollar and percentage terms, fiscal year 2021 growth exceeded any year since at least fiscal year 2001. This table summarizes revenue growth by major revenue source. Note that for this table, revenue is adjusted for accruals, refunds are subtracted from each item's gross receipts, and transfer revenue is included. This provides a true look at net revenue by major source on a fiscal year basis. For the fiscal year, all major sources of net revenue increased. Individual income tax increased over $300 million and 7.6%. Sales tax $343 million and 13.1%. And corporate income tax $173 million and 27.9%. Individual income tax growth was surprising, given that Iowa employment remains considerably below the levels experienced prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, while corporate income tax was strong again this year, even after an almost 16% rate of growth for fiscal year 2020. In large part, the growth experienced in sales tax came over the final few months of the fiscal year. This chart shows year-to-date net sales tax growth calculated at the end of each month. Growth was moderate for the months through March, when it totaled $103 million. From there, sales tax growth accelerated to reach an unprecedented $343 million by the time the books closed on fiscal year 2021. This chart provides annual fiscal year net revenue growth for fiscal year 2021 and the previous 19 years. To provide a clearer picture of the actual year-to-date general fund revenue change, transfer revenue is excluded. The chart shows that fiscal year 2021's dollar growth was exceptional, with the year's growth almost $400 million higher than any other of the previous 19 fiscal years. This additional chart shows the exceptional nature of the year's revenue growth is evident even in percentage terms, as fiscal year 2021's 11% growth exceeds the 8% growth rates experienced in fiscal years 2006 and 2008. Like the situation with sales tax, a large majority of the growth occurred late in the fiscal year. Growth through February totaled $263 million, while the final 4 months added almost $600 million to end at $859 million for the year. With the end of September and the close of fiscal year 2021, it is now possible to look at the current year on a fiscal year basis, meaning after the adjustments have been made to properly attribute transactions that occurred after June 30 back to fiscal year 2021. The LSA's Data Receipts website presents general fund gross receipts and tax refunds on a cash year, July 1 to June 30 basis. The website shows that net general fund revenue for the months of July, August, and September decreased almost $190 million and 7.8% when compared to last year. However, due to state and federal decisions to delay individual and corporate income tax payment due dates until the end of July in 2020, a considerable amount of cash fiscal year 2021 revenue was actually part of fiscal year 2020. Since the cash year calculations and the Data Receipts website do not adjust for this, the cash year calculation for fiscal year 2021 includes a much higher amount of accrued revenue than is normally the case. This table provides fiscal year basis revenue growth calculations for fiscal year 2022 adjusted for accrued revenue changes. Net revenue for fiscal year 2022 is off to a strong start with almost $90 million and 5.7% in net revenue growth compared to the same 3 months last year. While both cash year and fiscal year presentations have their purpose, The current fiscal situation is more accurately reflected by the fiscal year calculation, and that calculation has removed transactions that were part of the previous year's accounting. The 5.7% increase is the result of continued strong growth in sales and use tax and in corporate income tax. On the negative side, revenue from the individual income tax is showing a decrease for the first 3 months of the fiscal year. In summary, after fiscal year 2020's low rate of growth that was the result of COVID-19 economic and social ramifications, fiscal year 2021 provided a very strong rebound, a rebound that was concentrated in the final 3 months of the fiscal year. On a fiscal year basis, the new year is up 5.7% over its first 3 months. The Revenue Estimating Conference will consider the final fiscal year 2021 revenue numbers when producing new estimates for fiscal years 2022 and 2023 at the committee's next meeting scheduled on October 15th. I thank you for your time and your interest in Iowa General Fund revenue. Goodbye, and please check out the next monthly video memo in early November.